Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Honkai Star Rail video, and today we're going to do a character guide on the GOAT, Himeko. Himeko is a character I wasn't planning to do on a guide on because she was pretty underhyped in this game, pretty underrepresented, nobody really liked to use her. Well, Himeko just became GOATed because they came out with Pure Fiction, and I talked about this on an earlier stream I did. But they came out with an event where Himeko really shines, and it was such a great move by the developers because Himeko and Herta were probably two of the least hyped characters in the game, the least played characters, and Herta and Himeko actually do really, really well here. So I figured this is a very good time to do a guide on Himeko so you guys know how to play her, understand why she's so good in Pure Fiction. And I'm going to show you my builds for her. We're going to look at Relics, right? We're going to look at light cones, all that fun stuff, right? So the first thing is we'll just give a general overview as to what Himeko is so you understand why she's normally maybe not great, but why in Pure Fiction she is great. So Himeko is an erudition character who specializes in follow-up attacks. The big thing with Himeko is that she has to get 3 stacks of her buff to get her follow-up attacks, and she only gets stacks when enemies are broken. The reason why this is bad is because in normal hard content, you might not always have a full field of enemies. There might be very few enemies. You might not be breaking very often. And Himeko is going to feel very slow in those types of events, which is a lot of the hard content in the game. Pure Fiction, though, has many waves where you always have 5 enemies out. They're very weak. They break easily. They constantly replenish. She becomes a literal god in this mode. And we're going to showcase her in this mode in a little bit. So let's start off just by talking about her kit more specifically. So basic attack, it just scales off of her attack. Nothing too crazy there. Her skill deals fire damage, scaled off of her attack to a single damage, and then she gets some splash damage on the enemies adjacent to it. Her magma effect makes it so her skill deals 20% more damage to enemies who are already burned. Her ultimate deals fire damage, scaled off of her attack to all enemies. She regenerates 5 extra energy for each enemy defeated. So this is the other reason why Pure Fiction is so good, because you can get these crazy combos where Himeko might do a follow-up attack, kill a big wave, gain a bunch of energy, do an ultimate. That ultimate's going to break enemies, give her stacks, regen energy. She can almost sometimes go from follow-up into ultimate into follow-up into ultimate and just pop off these crazy turns because she's regenerating energy to get her ultimate back, and then her ultimate could cause her to get more stacks to get the follow-up. It all kind of builds on each other, right? And then her talent, and this is the thing that makes her do the follow-ups. So anytime an enemy is inflicted with break, she gains a stack. It maxes at 3. When you attack while she has 3 stacks, then she does her big follow-up attack. It hits all enemies and scales off of her attacks. And at the start of battle, she does start with 1 charge, which is good. A couple of bonus effects she has, and this will come from like traces, right? I don't think mine has any Eidolon, so this is an E0 Himeko. After using an attack, 50% chance to inflict burn. When the enemy is afflicted with burn, they take fire damage equal to 30% of her attack. And then she has another one called Benchmark. When current HP is 80% or more, she gets 15% extra crit rate. So she's got some built-in crit rate, which is very good. And then her field skill is going to put down an imperil on enemies. It increases fire damage taken by the enemies for 2 turns by 10%. And that's really all it does. So it's probably one I would prioritize less if you're, lacking skill points on the field, but it is a nice field circle you can put down, switch to other allies and still use their abilities as well, and it will give you some extra damage starting off. She does combo pretty well with Ron Mai, by the way, because Ron Mai kind of promotes breaking and wants breaking, and Himeko gets stacks when people are broken. So I'm going to showcase her on a team with Ron Mai in Pure Fiction where she looks really, really good, right? Okay, so with that, let's look at the light cones. And for light cones, we are going to go, I've been finding I do like this other view better. So we will go into the cell phone here, and we are going to go into the data bank and look at light cones. And we want to look at erudition light cones. So what are the best erudition light cones for her? So Before Dawn is a very good one, and that is the Jing Yuan one. This one increases their crit damage by 36%, increases their skill and ultimate damage by 18%. After they use their skill or ultimate, they gain a buff. Upon triggering a follow-up attack, the buff will be consumed and follow-up attack damage increases. This is a ridiculously good one on Himeko because it's going to really increase her damage. And she's really based around the follow-up attack. So this is just going to make everything hit ridiculously hard. And it's going to be godly. Now, a lot of players probably won't have this one. So let's look at some four-star options. One of them is called Today is Another Day. I just got to find it. Here it is down here. I actually don't have this one yet. This might, since I don't have it, there's a very good chance that this is the Battle Pass one, which means I might have to go pick this one up. So this one says, after entering battle, increases the wearer's damage based on their max energy. Damage increases by 0.2% per amount of energy up to 160 energy. So yeah, it just helps with their energy and damage based on their energy. So that one is pretty solid if you want to grab that one. The other 5-star, there is a Himeko 5-star one, which is this one. So this, I think, is from the generic banner. Or you might be able to buy this one in the shop for 600 monies, whatever those are. But this one says for every enemy on the field increases their attack up to 5 stacks. Something like this is good for Himeko because you're going to be using her in Pure Fiction, which is a place where you have a lot of enemies on the field. So you're going to get that full 5 stacks. So you're going to get, what, 45% attack on that. When an enemy is inflicted with Weakness Break, the damage dealt by the wearer increases by 30%. Yeah, I would say this one is also a very top tier pick on her. Obviously, because it's her light cone, it really fits what she's trying to do. So those are really, really good for damage. Now, the one that I am using, which is fairly accessible, I believe. Let me find it here. Why am I not? Oh, here it is right at the top. Birth of the Self. This is the one I'm using, and I actually have mine at Super Imposition 5. So what this one does is it increases the damage dealt by the wearer's follow-up attacks by 24%. Well, this is at level 1, right? We could put it at max level. This is what mine is at. So it's going to be, if you have the Super Imposition 5, it's 48% damage on the follow-up attacks. And then if the HP of the target enemy is below or equal to 50%, you get an additional 48% damage. This is so good, especially in Pure Fiction, because the enemies are very weak. So if you have an enemy that wasn't killed previously, this is going to deal so much damage that it's probably going to kill them and help you move on and get more enemies out on the wave. It's very, very good. So the idea with this, right, is let's say I attack with Himeko on an enemy with full health. I'm getting an extra 48% buff here. Let's say her regular attack doesn't kill the enemy but puts them below 50. Let's say her follow-up pops off after that, then the follow-up's going to get the extra 48% and completely wipe out the enemy. So I think this is probably, in my opinion, the best 4-star option. I actually like this one better than Today is Another Peaceful Day, so I'm probably just going to keep this one on. And then another one a lot of you guys will have is the Seriousness of Breakfast. This is another option you can have. Just increases your damage, and then every time an enemy is defeated, you stack your attack. Once again, good for Pure Fiction because you're going to be defeating a lot of enemies. But I would say this is probably on the lower end of the ones you want, but it's still a good budget option you can run. And I think a lot of players will have that one, right? All right, so with that, let's go ahead and look at Relics. Now, the reason why this is significant, I'm kind of excited because I just redid my Himeko's Relics because a new Relic came out that's actually quite good on her that I want to show off here. So the build before this new Relic came out was you would do a 2-piece of the Fire Forging set. You could do this at 4 pieces also. But at 2 pieces, you get 10% fire damage up. At 4 pieces, it increases your skill damage. And then after using the ultimate, it increases your fire damage for 12% for the next attack. That's solid, but she's really more about buffing the follow-up attacks, which I suppose if you use the ultimate and then trigger a follow-up, you'll get that extra 12%. So it's okay, but I think most people ran this at 2 just to get the 10% fire damage up. And then you'd run like a Wild Wheat 2 set, which is going to be up here. You just run this to get the 12% attack up. So that's how I used to run my Himeko, was the 12% attack and 10% fire. But now we've got a new Relic set, which I think is top tier to run at 4. The Ash Blazing Grand Duke. And I feel like this was kind of made for Himeko, and it's even got a fire theme to it, right? So at 2 pieces, you increase your follow-up damage by 20%. And then 4 pieces, when you use a follow-up attack, you increase your attack by 6%. Every time the follow-up attack deals damage, it can stack up to 8 times and last for 3 turns. It's removed the next time the wearer uses a follow-up attack. So, like, literally, I feel like this was built for Himeko. It's going to absolutely increase the damage of her follow-up attacks, which I'm hoping to see in this video. Like I said, this is my first time running her with this set, but I have it fully built out. And I'm very excited. I feel like that's the premier way to go with Himeko, because the thing with Himeko is you want to really build around her follow-up attacks because that's what her kit is based on. And you don't want to try to build her to try to fit other content. Like, pure fiction is her thing. Like, this is where she is good. Just build her for pure fiction and use her there. And then outside of pure fiction, if you find events that have a lot of enemies and you're breaking a lot, sure, you'll find pockets where you can use Himeko, but really her gold standard and where she wants to be is pure fiction. So you might as well build her to fit that as best as you can, right? And then let's go down to the planner ornaments. And I think what you're doing a lot on damage dealers is you are running this one here, which is the Firmament Frontline Gilmoth. This is what I just changed mine over to this as well. Increases their attack by 12%. And then if you reach certain speed thresholds, you're going to gain more attack, which is very nice. The reason why this is a very popular set is speed is a very important stat you want to build on characters anyways. So this promotes you to add more speed to your character. So you're going to get your speed boots, try to get that speed built up to at least hit a 135 to 160 speed threshold is really what you want to do. And then get the attack buff with it. So that's what I went with there. Now, in terms of other stats you should be going for, right? So if we're looking specifically at, the body and the feet, which are the two normal pieces, right? So let's go back to this set here. If we go back to the relics. So if we go up here and you're specifically looking at the body, right? The body piece, I say the one you want the most is crit rate. Because other than that 15% she's got built in, she doesn't have any. And getting crit damage is a really important way to increase the damage of your characters. So I'd say get crit rate up to a decent level. I would say if you can get her base crit rate to be at least 50% or higher, that's something I would aim for. And if you use an ornament set that wants crit rate, then you might have to go a little bit higher on that. But I usually like to get at least 50% crit rate. And then crit damage is also a good stat. And then effect hit rate is also solid because she's burning. But burning isn't really like the big part of her kit. So I'd say crit rate and crit damage is what you want to go there. What I would say is if you can get her crit rate to above 50% without it being on the body, then do crit damage and get some big damage off of that, right? And then on the feet, you 100% want speed, especially if you're going to use that planner set that I recommended. You're going to want the speed. You want your damage dealers to go faster, right? And if we go back here to the planner spheres, the other thing I should mention is I talked about this as probably being the best one, but there are other ones that are also good, and the basic attacking ones, right? Space Sealing Station is solid. It just buffs attack. You could go with a crit rate or a crit damage one. So this one here would be a crit rate one. And I think, what is it? Is this one the crit damage one? Yeah, this is another crit rate one. So you have another kind of crit rate options there. And you have the basic attack one. So I think you're kind of flexible there, but I think the speed one is really the one you want to go with, right? And so then here, when you're looking at the planner sphere, you definitely want to go fire damage there. And then on the rope, you want to go energy regen rate or attack, but I would prioritize energy regen rate. Regen rate's really good on her because when you're comboing off her follow-ups and then getting her ultimate, which leads to more follow-ups, which leads to more ultimate. Because here's the thing, the follow-ups killing enemies makes her regen energy, and then regenning the energy leads to her ultimate. Her ultimate leads to more breaking, which thus leads to more follow-up attacks, right? So if you get what I'm saying, like getting her ultimate more often is incredibly good because you're going to just be comboing off like crazy in this new event. So that's what I would recommend doing there, right? Okay, so with that, I think we've covered everything on Himeko. So let's go ahead and jump into the event. So we're going to use my little shortcut device here. And we are going to go into here, which is going to lead me right into pure fiction. So let's teleport in that. So we're going to do a stage 2 run. Now, Himeko here is set up to be really, really good on stage 2. So you guys do have to watch me go through stage 1 with another team, but that's fine. Let's go and hop in. And let's see how good my girl Himeko is actually looking here. She's pretty wild, pretty crazy, right? All right, so we're going to do stage 1. And so this part will just be for fun, right? You get a little extra fight here on stage 1. We'll do Silverwolf's effect to go into the fight. And then we'll save the best for last. My girl Himeko just popping off like crazy at the end. So sure, let's go ahead and hit this. I'm honestly kind of tempted just to auto battle this just to get to stage 2, but this is fine. We'll go through. We'll legitimately try to deal some damage to these guys, right? Claire's actually pretty nice here because she's got AoE, which you see there can do a lot of damage. And then her counters can do a lot of damage also when you got Mr. Svarog up. So I think Clara actually does kind of well here. And I think Sela actually can do okay only because she can spam turns. But normally hunt characters which are single target aren't going to be very good for this event. But I make an exception for Sela because I've got her really built out and she is very good. We'll pop off Claire's ultimate here. Get Mr. Svarog rolling, get the big counters, really blast the enemies away. But yeah, my plan next is I do think I want to build up Herda because Herda I think is also very good here like Himeko, and I would love to get her rolling as well. Alright, so Sela here spamming a turn, doing that. Going off into this, we're going to hit this. Let Sela get our little piggy boy there. Take care of that. Keep popping off attacks with Sela, blowing up the enemies. We will take that. Actually, I probably should have used that on a full health enemy, huh? That's my bad. Oh, wow. Sela's like... Well, I guess there's only half his health, but yeah, she's like one-shotting with a normal. These enemies are a little bit weaker, by the way, because this is only stage 2. I think these are level 65 enemies, so it's not too bad. Alright, and I do apologize if I sound a little stuffy. I'm getting over an illness right now. But we're doing okay. We'll AoE there with Clara. We're on wave 2 out of 3, so we'll just get through it here. Alright, we're going to pop off a heal here. I just don't want to get caught with Clara like getting a little bit too low. So we'll do that. Okay. Then we'll keep attacking our little piggy boy. Get them dead for some bonuses. Throw off an ultimate. Very good. Clara will pop the counters. We will take that. Go into Mr. Svarog mode. This will be a big time counter now. Yep. Oh, I just love seeing them all pop. All right. Wave 3. I did a normal with Sela hoping she would kill him, but I came up just short. We're going to pop this on the big guy. Now, I think in this mode, it's actually better to target the small enemies. Because the bosses, I believe, get weaker as you kill the enemies down. So you kind of want to kill them down and not waste your attacks on the big guys early. On this fight, it's not as big of a deal because they're a lot weaker. Because, once again, we're only on stage 2. Alright, Clara, let's do your thing. My Clara, by the way, is E3. I thought my Clara was E2, but she's actually E3. I've pulled Clara 4 times, which is kind of crazy. That's pretty good for a 5-star. She's like in Genshin Impact. That was Jean for me. Jean was a character. I think I had her at Constellation 5 or something. I'm pretty sure she's Constellation 5. I pulled Jean all the time off banner. So yeah, that's what Clara is in this game for me. Both very solid characters. Like, neither you would say is like the best character, but they're both like very solid. And I do like my defense counter characters for sure. Alright, we're going to pop this ultimate. We're going to hit the boss with it, since it is big time damage. Oh yes, okay. Calling in reinforcements, eh? We need to get Clara healed. Clara, I mean, the one thing with Clara, she does draw in a lot of attacks. So I usually do like comboing her with a preservation unit. So you can see she can get pretty weak here without it. But we're okay. Link should have a heal coming up very soon. I still got to get my energy regen rate up on Link's. I got to change her relics a little bit. I got to give her energy regen rate rope is what I need to do. Alright, kill that guy. Let's kill you. Get into Silverwolf here. Oh, we just got Lynx's heal off in time. Clara was actually about to die there on level 2. Got a little bit lucky there. Got the Lynx heal clutch, though. And this is our last turn anyway, so we might as well go all out. And then we're going to see the GOAT Himeko, the one we're all here to see. Obviously, I wouldn't normally do this. I would normally just jump in and show you Himeko, but I'm kind of forced to in this situation because Stage 2 is so much better for Himeko. I had to run on Stage 2. And I think on all the Pure Fiction stages that are out, like, they always did Fire Weakness on Stage 2. So, yeah, we got to put Himeko there. And it's kind of funny. It's kind of the reverse. Because spots where other characters are normally really good, they're not as good here, right? Like Silverwolf isn't nearly as good here. All right, let's get into some Himeko action. So what we're going to do is Rodmai is going to pop her enhance. We're going to get Jinglu's enhance. We're going to get Himeko's Imperil. Once again, this is going to make them give us a little bit more fire damage there. And then Payla's going to enter with her skill. Let's watch Himeko cook. This is absolutely wild. Look, she's just opening with it because we went in and broke with Rodmai. She just got her follow-up immediately off of that. Already did a bunch of damage and took out enemies. We haven't even touched the button yet, right? Here comes Jinglu. Himeko's going to do the blast, and we're going to try to get some breaks here. Okay, and then here we go. Here's a Himeko ultimate, followed by a Payla ultimate. So Himeko ultimate, which triggers her follow-up, which goes into a Payla ultimate, which if this breaks enough, we might get another Himeko follow-up. We only had 2 enemies there, so we're okay. Actually, I'm just going to single target here. So yeah, the more you can reliably break is what makes Himeko really go crazy. So we're going to keep going again here. There's a break. Here's the follow-up. Big damage, and she can just take out waves of enemies with that follow-up. It's so good. Let's see here. Let's go. Jinglu's about to go into crazy mode here. Got a nice little break there. Perfect. And then we'll go right here. Guess what? Follow-up time. And then guess what? Now my other characters have ultimates which have chances to break, right? So we're going to go ahead and hit this. Got some breaks there into a follow-up, which killed that entire wave. Now Payla's going to go ahead and probably break all 3 of these guys, which should give me another Himeko follow-up. Brand new enemies, by the way. That comes in and wipes out. Now we got the Himeko ultimate, which should probably get her into some more follow-ups. Look at Himeko just go crazy. This is when it gets nuts. Look at this. Just wiping out the waves. Like crazy wiping out the waves. Okay, and then actually we'll just single target. Kill you. Yeah, Himeko is just popping off here. Now, this team build doesn't have any healing on it, so if we die, that's fine. That definitely is a risk we're taking. But yeah, we're just trying to go crazy here. All right, this should proc another Himeko follow-up, which should do a ton of damage. See, they replenish, and then the follow-up comes in. Like, they just built this so well for her. And now we did that into another Himeko ultimate, which will probably proc us another follow-up. Like, the damage she's putting out is astronomical, and we are just peeling through these waves. So this is why if you guys have had Himeko hiding, thinking, oh, she's a bad character, which once again, she wasn't the greatest, right? She was probably the worst 5-star in the game. And now they've given us a legit use for her, so definitely build up your Himekos, ladies and gentlemen. If you got her, you've got a great character for a great game mode. I actually find this game mode to be quite fun. I think this might be one of my favorite game modes, and here's the thing. This is like Forgotten Hall. This is actually a part of Forgotten Hall. Similar to Simulated Universe in that this is permanent content. They're going to keep updating it. They're going to keep doing new stuff. Look at this combo, by the way. We're just going for days and days and wiping out waves and waves of enemies. And there you go. We beat it with plenty of turns to spare. We absolutely annihilated that thing with Himeko. So anyways, guys, let me know what you think of the GOAT Himeko. Thanks for watching. We'll catch y'all on the next one.